Hello, friends, and welcome back to another episode of the happiest hour on earth. We're so excited because this week we're celebrating Disneyland's 68th birthday. It was actually this Monday, which was yesterday. We're filming on Tuesday. So it's a very exciting week for Disney. And we just decided that with all of that going on, it was a good time to talk about kind of what the future of Disneyland looks like. What the 70th decade will look like. What things do we think we can expect to see in the park, and what things we don't think we'll be seeing. So we've got some predictions. We also have some listener suggestions or ideas for what may or may not be happening. So we're excited about this one. So let's go ahead and jump in.
All right, so before we get into these crazy predictions, we are going to take a look back about 8 years ago when the 60th anniversary happened. And I feel like for Disney World's 50th anniversary, they really tried to get things, in time for the 50th anniversary. Obviously, there was new shows. They were coming out with the Ratatouille ride, and Mission Breakout was... Or sorry, not Mission Breakout, Cosmic Rewind, Guardians, it was within the 50th time frame. Yeah. And then Tron came out a little bit later, but they really kind of went all out and tried to, have some new things for the 50th. Mm-hmm. Now for Disneyland's 60th, they didn't really do too much in 2015. They had new shows. They had Paint the Night, Disneyland Forever, World of Color, Celebrate. And then Galaxy's Edge was announced shortly after the birthday at that year's D23. So not too much happened on the actual 60th. But when we look back over these past couple of years, a lot has actually happened. Mm-hmm. Now we're going to jump into these. So the 60th was 2015. 2017, Tower of Terror got transitioned to Mission Breakout. So new ride, ride retheme. 1 year later, 2018, Pixar Pier. So a rethemed land. 2019, Galaxy's Edge, a new land. 2021, 2 years after that, Avengers Campus, a rethemed land. The year after that, Toontown reimagined with Runaway Railway. And then 2 years later, we will get Tiana's Bayou Adventure. So 2024. Yep. So a lot really happened. So we got rethemed rides, rethemed lands, and new rides. Yeah. So really, really crazy. So we're going to just go all in. What's going to happen during the 70th decade? I don't think anything will really happen on the 70th year, on Disneyland's 70th anniversary. I think some things will be announced on that time, but I don't think we have enough time besides Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Yeah. Oh wait, no, that will be even before, because that'll be 2024. So yeah, I don't think anything will be really done before then, but we're going to jump into some crazy and not so crazy predictions, and we're going to give it a likely or not likely to happen within the next 70th decade. So do you want to start us off here?
Yeah, sure. So we figured we would just start with kind of the most obvious, or the one that is the most talked about, because we got a couple of listener suggestions that pointed to that, and obviously it's on our mind as well. Yeah. Probably a lot of you. So obviously we're talking about a Tomorrowland refurb. I think of all the lands, it's definitely the most in need of an overhaul and just lots of help. Yeah. It's been a long time coming. I think everybody's just waiting to see when that's going to happen. And I think it's pretty likely that that will happen in the 70th year or decade. I rate it likely, because I think that Disney must know at this point that that's needed. I mean, if they can put money towards a lot of the other things that we've seen them put money towards, like Downtown Disney stuff and so many other things, they have to know that that's high on the list of what needs to be done.
Yeah.
Right?
I would like to say likely, but I feel like so many people have been talking about this for a very long time and it hasn't gotten done. So
Has it been a decade long?
I don't know. I feel like people were talking about it even since the 50th. I don't know.
Really?
I don't know. I'm not really sure.
I don't know.
I'm going to go against you because we always go hand in hand with this. So I'm going to go not likely just because I haven't seen any movement on this at all.
We'll see.
If anything, I'm not sure. I don't think it's going to be a full Tomorrowland refurb. I think we will have some new stuff added.
Some changes, but not a full. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I can
like
see that.
repurposing something. I could see. But we had to talk about this because Mr. Make It Magical on Instagram, who's part of Clayton, who's a part of the Make It Magical podcast, which they're the best. We just hung out with him actually.
Yes, we did.
A week or so ago.
Yes.
And our son just loved them. He keeps talking about them. He gets their names wrong, but if you're listening right now, he
still talks about you guys.
He does.
And the books that you guys got us, we read on a daily basis, just so
multiple times a day.
They got us some adorable golden books of Pirates of the Caribbean and Aladdin, and our son absolutely loves them. So quick side note, but
quick side note. But he said Tomorrowland actually gets an update. That was his crazy prediction, and he said this is probably too crazy of a prediction though. And then all Disney said reimagining of Tomorrowland. It needs to be done because the quote unquote futuristic land feels the most outdated.
Yeah.
And I think that's the hard thing is that technology is moving at such a rapid pace that you can't keep up with that. So,
but that's like I imagine that's what their struggle is in trying to figure out what to do with the land.
Yeah.
Like they have to be thinking about it, right? Like it has to be a topic within the Disney company that they need to do something about it, but I'm sure they're trying to figure out a way to do it where it won't become outdated again.
Yeah, and that's the hard thing too, because like I guess I don't really like the idea of going like super IP focused, like you could just do a lot of Marvel and Star Wars, but the thing is Marvel is not futuristic. Marvel happens current day.
Yeah.
Technically Star Wars happens a long time ago. And so that land I feel like I don't know. I think rather than focusing on like future things that can get outdated, I think focusing on ideas that have always been around even since like, I don't know, I guess the 60s too, like space, like, outer space travel, like, right. We have Space Mountain.
Like what?
I don't know, or like flying car. I don't know what, like something that is kind of retro futuristic that will always be something we think about, but never, I don't know. It's a hard land.
Yeah, it is really hard. I mean, like when Innoventions was there, I feel like that made the most sense of like, cause they could constantly switch stuff out inside of that building, but it made sense that it was, it was all about innovating and all the new stuff going on in the world of technology. So I don't know why that
maybe they should do an area like that where they allow even Imagineers to like mess around with some like new technology and you get to see what they're working on or something like that. I feel like they could either go that, I don't know what route to go. I feel like they might bring, and this is actually one of them later, I feel like they could bring an Avatar thing here. I know Bob Iger said, there's going to be an Avatar experience in Disneyland. That technically, because people think
makes sense because the technology used in the movie is pretty futuristic to like transport yourself into another world, kind of.
Because I think that's the thing is people think Avatar, Animal Kingdom, and it totally is that. It is like about conservation of the environment, and it is very Animal Kingdom-esque, but it also is very futuristic because there's so much technology within that. So I think honestly, I feel like that'd be cool. You have Disney World that focuses on one aspect of the movie. Disneyland focuses on the futuristic side of the movie. So I don't know. I think
true because I mean, Disneyland and Disney World both have their Marvel aspects, there's Star Wars aspects, but we don't have anything Avatar over here.
Yeah, we don't.
That's one big part of Disney World. So I think that could have a place in Tomorrowland.
But just overall theme, because you need to come up with a theme. So you know what? A complete refurb, a total refurb. I'm going to say not likely, but actually I do think that there will be some new stuff during that time. So maybe a likely little, exactly. Half thumbs up. So that one was probably the longest one.
Yeah.
We'll talk about, because obviously Tomorrowland is a hot topic.
Yeah.
For sure.
A lot to say.
But we're going to actually do a quick little section. So we did a little Tomorrowland section. Now we're going to talk about Disneyland Forward for a bit. All right. Before we get to some other just kind of quick one-off questions. So Disneyland Forward, if you don't know, this is a proposal set forth by Disney because they have some very strict laws of what can be attraction space, what has to be hotel space, what has to be dining space, especially when it comes to Disneyland, California Adventure, Downtown Disney. And so they're trying to set up a proposal where they don't have to really abide by those laws anymore, so that they could kind of build Disneyland into some parking areas that were originally set as this is straight up parking and you can't do anything else. So they're trying to work with the city to make this a possibility. And with this, everything could be kind of more integrated in the resort as a whole. And so they said this on the website, the official website, about Disneyland Park. With Disneyland Forward and an updated approach, these exciting new lands and attractions at Tokyo Disney Sea could be the perfect inspiration for the future of Disneyland Park. And they listed a couple here. So let's start. The first one they listed was Frozen Land. Mm-hmm. So
should we just list off?
Okay, they listed
them?
Frozen Land, Tangled Land, and Peter Pan Land. And so this is in Tokyo Disney Sea. It's going to be a whole area. I forgot what it's called, but it's a whole section that will contain many lands. So Frozen Land, Tangled, and Peter Pan, kind of all within one bigger area. But what do you think here? Frozen Land,
the way
starting.
that it's phrased, the way that they talk about it, it sounds like they're like planning on doing it. It sounds likely.
It sounds like, what did it say? It says,
when did
could
this
be the perfect inspiration for the so it's like inspiration means I feel like they could use it or they could just do something similar to that. Yeah.
But because when was this talked about? Like this happened like last year?
Disneyland Forward. Yeah, I think the website probably came out last year. Yeah.
And there's really no movement on it yet, I guess.
So Disneyland is now like setting up little things within the community for the community to come to them and talk to them. So they're almost doing like grassroots movements to try to get people to know about it before the 2024 elections or whatever.
So they kind of want to get a feel for what people want before they really move forward, kind of?
No, as in like the city has to vote on it. So the city could turn it down and they can't do it.
Oh.
So it's more of like a legal thing. So they would do it if they have the ability to, but they're trying to get people interested to vote in favor of it.
Interesting.
So let's say it does. Let's say it does go through and they can make new lands within Disneyland Park. Frozen Land. What would you say?
I think Frozen is likely because of how big it is.
And I think there's probably going to be a Frozen 3 for sure.
Yeah.
I'm going to say likely as well.
I think Frozen's pretty likely. I don't know. It's like, it sounds like the plan would be for all of these to be kind of integrated.
Okay.
Like, I don't think that they would be like one's going to happen, but the other's not. Like, it kind of sounds like it would all be within one area because all of those are kind of, all of these movies have kind of like water theme surrounding them, so it feels like it'll be kind of like an island with different sections that are different themes. That's what it sounds like to me.
I like that. Okay, so you're saying Frozen likely. I'm saying Frozen likely. You're saying Tangled likely.
I think so. I think all of them are likely.
I'm gonna go Tangled. Although I would love to see it, I'm gonna say Tangled not likely. Peter Pan likely. And
so you think it'll be 2?
I think it'll be 2 because I don't think Disneyland has the space. I don't know if they're going to have the space. So I think they're probably going to shrink, take this similar idea, do something new, something old, and then maybe shrink it down. So I love Tangled so much. Tangled is one of our favorites. Yeah. But I'm going to say Frozen, yes, because, Frozen 3 is probably going to come out, make tons of money. Peter Pan, I could see them bringing back because they used to have Skull Rock in the land, so it's almost kind of like a nod to something that was there before. And then so I feel like that will be good.
Be in Fantasyland, huh?
It'll probably be like a Fantasyland expansion, hopefully.
How could they do that though?
I would say, I know there had been talks about where all the way to where the theater is, kind of thing. So that might be a situation. So you're saying likely on all 3. I'm going to say likely, not likely, then likely.
Okay.
I'm mainly doing this because we always agree on everything. So
I know. And I'm probably just going to say likely on everything because maybe I'm just too optimistic.
Okay, no, this is good. This is good. Because I'm switching things up this episode.
Yeah, I mean,
a new man.
Me saying that things are that likely is probably very unprobable because
it's you Disney, wanting them. You're like,
yeah. I'm like, yes, they're definitely gonna do it, but in likelihood, Disney's financial status is probably not at its best right now. So a lot of things are probably not gonna be happening.
But you look at the 60th decade, and there was a lot that changed during the 60th decade, but
a lot
we
has
had
changed
a lot of loss of money during 2020. So that is really tough. So okay, now that was Disneyland Park with Disneyland Forward. Now for Disney California Adventure, they also mentioned something. So on the site, they said, with updated approvals, Disney California Adventure Park could be home to some of Disney's most technologically advanced, immersive, and cutting-edge entertainment, taking cues from these exciting lands and attractions around the globe for inspiration. So they said Zootopia Land, Toy Story Land, and the Tron ride. So
Tron would be in California Adventure?
I know, right? Because I always thought
that's wrong.
I know. I always thought Tomorrowland. That makes a lot of sense.
That makes the most sense.
And that's where it is. But it did say under California Adventure, so I don't know where that would be.
That's ridiculous.
That feels weird.
That makes no sense to me. It doesn't have a place there. It would feel so wrong to have a ride that looks like that. California Adventure is such a it doesn't have that futuristic technological vibe, all aside from Avengers Campus.
Yeah. So
nothing
I don't know
else
where it
would
fit.
Feel right. So for me, that's
okay. Wait, let's start Zootopia Land. I could start.
What do you
Zootopia Land? I'm gonna say not likely.
I feel like that's not likely too.
Yeah,
because it's not. There's nothing really bringing it back into popularity.
Right but yeah, now. I think they are going to be doing a Zootopia too, but I don't foresee a whole Zootopia Land.
Yeah,
not a Zootopia Land. I could see a Zootopia ride maybe somewhere, but a land, no. I'm going to say not likely.
I agree. I don't think that's likely. Toy Story
Land. I don't know. Okay, wait. If they're able to do Disneyland Forward and expand a little bit, I think they could do Toy Story Land. I think, especially since Toy Story 5 would be coming out, I could say that's likely.
Yeah, I guess I could see that too. It's weird to me that there's not that Pixar Pier is there and there's a lot of focus on Toy Story because it's Pixar. Yeah. And then to spend that much to create a whole other land. I mean, I love Toy Story and I would be about it. I just think that would be kind of a weird like financial decision. And they're also like building a Pixar hotel now. Like,
yeah, well, that's what I'm thinking. Like, I'm wondering if with Disneyland Forward, and it's all about like integrating, you know, it doesn't have to be like this is hotel space and this is theme park space. I'm wondering if there'd be a way to one of the parking lots like by Pixar Pixar Place Hotel, is it? Yeah. Mm-hmm. If one of those parking lots could be like a mini Toy Story Land, and then it's a hotel right next to Toy Story Land. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I could see that happening though. But so you said
hard, like location wise for any of this. It's hard to know what they would do spatially for pretty much anything we're talking about because we're so tapped out on space.
I heard they're going to be, if it goes through, I think it's the Simba parking lot and one other parking lot. Like maybe isn't there a Stitch parking lot? I think the Stitch one is like near downtown Disney.
That's such a bummer. Like so much parking going away. Like,
well, then they were just relocated somewhere else. Yeah,
but they only have so much space.
Oh yeah, unless they like buy a parking garage somewhere else or something. I don't know. We'll see. And then you get shuttled over. But so Zootopia Land, I'm saying not likely. Toy Story Land, I'm saying likely. Are you?
I'm like.
Okay, you're the halfway. We're allowed one halfway, like I just did halfway earlier. Tron Ride. Now, this doesn't have to be California Adventure. I'm going to say not likely for California Adventure. But I'm going to say
mentioned it in terms of being in California Adventure, then that's kind of what we have to rank it by, right?
Well, they said could be home to some of these. So I'm going to say California Adventure, not likely. Tron Ride as a whole, I'm going to say likely within the 70th.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're on there. Okay.
Yeah.
So now we're like breaking out of our constraints. We're now just going to like one-off crazy predictions. Yeah. And so the first one comes to us from at Live, Learn, Dream Magic, who's been such an amazing listener of our show. She's always responded to these, and I love listening to these. Yeah, they're so good. I love hearing from her. So she said a complete overhaul of Casey Jr. / the storybook canal boat section. That's
could be.
Yeah, that's
like
really tough.
Yeah, it feels like Fantasyland in general could
change a lot
coming, and I think that section is probably the most likely.
Yeah,
because if you touch any of the dark rides, I mean, I guess they have kind of a little bit at this point, but you know, like actually removing any, probably you'd have mayhem. So
that's an interesting area too, because storybook land canal boats is like closer to, because you kind of pass through that and then you get to like the main area of Fantasyland. And then as you keep walking towards Frontierland, that's when you get to Casey Jr. Mm-hmm. But I feel like you actually could do like a cut of that.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of like the perimeter of things, although Dumbo's kind of in that way, right? So that's a tough one. I definitely think Fantasyland could change. I feel like one of those rides would survive though. Yeah. I don't know which one, but I feel like
it would be hard because they're kind of cross paths.
Yeah.
So it would be hard to change one and not the other.
If an expansion would be coming towards like that area of Fantasyland, kind of near the theater and on the way to Small World, I guess I could kind of see Storybook Land canal boats, which would be really sad because it's such a classic. Mm-hmm. Ooh, I don't know if they're going to touch it. I'm going to say not likely within this decade.
Yeah.
I think they might try to touch Fantasyland without touching anything else. But that is a very good prediction because I think it's definitely a possibility. But I don't know if it would be in this decade.
Yeah, agreed. I think I agree with you on that.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Live, Learn, Dream Magic. Go follow her page, by the way, because she's amazing.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. And then we have the idea that an Avengers ride will finally be added to Avengers Campus.
Yeah.
because that was supposed to have happened already, I feel like, right?
Yeah.
Since it opened.
And they just mentioned it at the last D23.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm going to say
They can
likely.
mention anything they want and it doesn't have to happen. So
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. It's
I'm
hard
going to say within 12 years, I think it's going to happen because I think the land needs it. Although Bob Iger recently said on an interview that, you know, they kind of oversaturated the Star Wars and Marvel kind of market with so many shows and movies, and Marvel hasn't been in a great place recently. But yes, a big eat ticket attraction is definitely going to come within the next 12 years. I'm super confident in that.
Yeah, I think I agree.
And that's the one they talked about. Originally, it was supposed to be a really cool, like
the big one.
Yeah, it was supposed to be like a Quinjet attraction, like based in Wakanda, and then they switched it to like a multiverse Thanos attraction. And I think from the concept art, it looks like it's kind of a screen-based ride, which I'm not super excited for. But if it's anything like Flight of Passage, then yeah, maybe it will be really cool. I'd be
down for that.
I'd be super down. So we're both saying likely.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. At Jordan the Swan, who's also amazing. All these people are amazing. She said Gideon's in downtown Disney. So if you don't know Gideon's, if you're a Disneyland native and haven't been over to Walt Disney World, Gideon's is an amazing bakery.
In Disney Springs.
Yeah, and we actually didn't get to go there, but everyone we know talks about Gideon. So I think I'm going to say within the next 12 years, likely, because
there's a lot changing.
There's a lot, yeah.
Downtown Disney, and I feel like they could use some fresh places like that. I mean, we are getting the other one,
Porto's, yeah.
So, yeah, that's kind of a bakery as well. So I don't know if they would necessarily add another bakery. If Porto's
they've had two Starbucks at the same time. So.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I guess if you need a lot of options.
Because Gideon's is more like, I think
sweet.
Cookies, and I think Porto's is more like pastries and stuff. So
that's true.
I would say, because also on the Disneyland Forward site, they said something about changing downtown Disney to resemble Disney Springs. You could check it out on the website. They do say that. And so I could see them. yeah, right. I could see them doing Gideon's. I'm going to say likely.
Yeah.
It's going to be so weird to listen to this episode back in a couple of years and see what they're planning.
If anything we predicted came true.
yeah, for sure. Do you want to get the next one?
Yeah. So our next one comes from at Lulu Bebas and Memories, who has been an awesome follower of the show for quite a while, pretty much since the beginning. So we love you. She said, my crazy prediction is that they will make another park in another state or country. I would love to agree with that. I think it's time. It's hard for me to say whether I fully agree that it will happen in that time, just based on financial stuff, because that would be a huge financial undertaking to build a whole other park. I mean, it's possible. And I think it's needed because there hasn't been a new park built in so many years. I would love to see a new park. We've kind of talked about that before. One in like the UK or something. Yeah. Or if it was here, somewhere more in the Midwest. I would love to see a new park be built, but it's hard to say whether it could happen or not, just financially. What do you think?
You can say what you think, because then I feel like this might be the reverse of what we've been doing. So are you going to say not likely?
I don't know. I guess I might say not likely.
Okay.
Sadly.
This is tough. I don't know if we'll ever get another park in the States. I would like to. I know I would. Yeah. I feel like doing something, we have California, Disney World. I feel like something in the middle and northern. So that's, I guess it's like a weird triangle, but I just feel like that would make sense. Cause like if you live in Washington or New York, you could go either down or across to get to one. So I don't think another U.S. state, I feel like a country could be announced. Because I remember during the last one, during the 60th years, they did open Shanghai. But like you said, money, that's a big one. That's a big one.
Finances have changed a lot over the last few years.
And Bob Iger's in this weird quasi, he's CEO, but there's a lot up in the air. So 12 years is a long time. But you know what? Due to finances, I
just think it's going to take a very, very long time for things to fully
like where they have money to
again.
True. I think they are thinking a lot about like profits now rather than expansion. So, okay. I love your crazy prediction, Lulu.
Yes.
But I might have to say not likely on this one. Although I would love, I would love if it were likely.
I would be so pumped to hear of a new park opening.
Yeah.
That's something that would bring me so much joy because I think we need it. But
yeah, definitely. Oof. Okay. That's a really good one, Lulu. Okay. Next up. So this is one we just put down that we thought of. A Haunted Mansion update. Now
based on the fact that a new movie is coming out soon.
Yeah. Nothing was touched during the Eddie Murphy one, but when Pirates came out, they added Jack Sparrow.
So I think it very much depends on how this movie does.
Yes. I don't think they're going to, I feel like the Pirates of the Caribbean movie didn't have too much to do with the original ride. While this Haunted Mansion movie, it looks like has a lot to do with the ride. So I think, they had to craft a story with Haunted Mansion as well, but I feel like they're going to be touching on a lot of elements within the ride that you wouldn't need to change the ride. But Pirates, you have this very eccentric guy. And so adding him, I guess, seems more plausible than doing anything with the new Haunted Mansion movie.
Yeah.
I think if anything, it would be not in the actual ride, maybe a little bit of the well, you can't change the amazing recording from the ghost host. So
yeah, to be honest, I don't think it's likely because we already have a whole overlay at Halloween and Christmas time that I don't think they would necessarily change anything about the non-holiday ride.
Yeah, that's true.
It's hard to say, but I think so many people love it just the way it is. And a lot of people probably felt that way about Pirates as well before Johnny Depp was added. But I don't know. There's something different about the Haunted Mansion. Yeah.
And Pirates, they were able to do it in a way, like with Jack Sparrow, that he was just kind of like, it's almost like a hidden Mickey, but with Jack Sparrow. It's like very light. Exactly. So I don't think they'll do it for Haunted Mansion. So I'm going to say not likely.
Yeah. I say not likely, I think.
Yeah.
Kind of a cool idea, but yeah, it remains to be seen if the movie is going to be good or not. I'm intrigued, but I don't know if it's necessarily going to be good enough
Pirates. Good. Yeah.
To add anything to the ride. So
yeah,
I think we'll say no on that one. So our next response comes from Jordan the Swan again. And she said, an Avatar experience added to Tomorrowland, which is what we were already talking about earlier. Yeah. So yeah, I would say that was likely.
Yeah. I say likely. Yeah. I don't think Bob Iger would have brought that up if it wasn't in a 5-year plan to start working on it. So
yeah, I think he's smart enough to know what
what
can be brought up safely and what can't.
Yeah. Now, is this going to be an experience? Because a lot of people have talked about interventions changing to be like a walkthrough, hands-on experiment. You're kind of like, this is the lab that they, work in, and it's just something like that. Yeah. Or do we get an actual ride? Okay. This is tough.
If we got Flight of Passage, I would cry.
I know.
But I feel like it would be something different, probably, right? Maybe.
Yeah. I don't know how, I guess that is a really big show building. I mean, I know the queue is huge. And so even if we had a building that would support in Tomorrowland, Flight of Passage, I don't think we would have a queue big enough for that. So
yeah, because I mean, if you think about Pandora in Disney World and Animal Kingdom, it's enormous.
I mean, that line is like an outside section and then multiple inside sections.
It winds all the way through and then it goes out.
Yeah.
It's insane. So that's true. I'm not sure that we would have enough space to house a ride like that here.
But when it comes to an Avatar experience, I'm saying likely, but
I don't think that'll go over as well. An experience is like cool, but I think the whole hype around Avatar is based on how cool Flight of Passage is and just like how cool the way Pandora looks in Animal Kingdom. So I don't know. I don't know if just like, you know, building something in Innovention building where you can like mess with stuff would necessarily go over well.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm interested to see what they have to say about what it could be.
Yeah. So how about like, do you think, just going back to like the basic prompt, an Avatar something? Do you think an Avatar something? Okay.
I think something Avatar is coming. And I think it makes sense. It's just hard to know exactly what they would add.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So the one that I have that we wrote down here is at least one rethemed land. Now,
is that just within Disneyland?
Just within the Disneyland Resort. So either California Adventure or Disneyland. So right now we already had, in the 60th decade, we had Paradise Pier going to Pixar Pier and Bugs Land going to Avengers Campus. So that was two rethemed lands in the last decade. But do you think they will retheme a land? I'm trying to think.
I have an idea.
Nothing in Disneyland. I don't think anything in Disneyland.
I have an idea.
Okay, what's your idea?
I'm gonna name one in each park that I think could be changed.
Okay.
So maybe you can agree or disagree or have your own ideas.
Okay.
Disneyland, Critter Country.
Okay. Yep.
Sad, but the way that things are going, it feels like it could change.
Okay. Yeah.
And then possibly in California Adventure, Hollywoodland.
Okay. Yeah. Those are good.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I like those ideas. So I think Critter Country might not be rethemed. I think it might be overtaken, which is a prompt that we'll have soon. But in California Adventure, the Hollywoodland one definitely could, which would make me really sad because I think Buena Vista Street goes into Hollywoodland very nicely. However, the Hollywood backlot, which Monsters Inc. We love Monsters Inc., but it does feel a little bit weird. Why is Monsters Inc. in Hollywood? Like that doesn't make sense.
It does not make any sense, and it's Pixar themed. It should be Pixar Land.
So I could see that, and I could also see Paradise Gardens Park.
That was the other one I was thinking of as well. But.
So you know, you guys know where that is. It's Pixar Pier kind of ends at Inside Out, and then you get another spinner attraction, which is Mickey's Silly Symphony Swings. And then you get like Jumpin' Jellyfish, random,
and then
Goofy Sky School,
just
all that stuff. I could see that area getting rethemed. However, Ariel would stay. So I don't know. That could be a hodgepodge land, but I do think they could switch that up. Actually. I think at least one rethemed land is likely.
Yeah.
And say likely.
I think there's a couple that could use a little bit of retheming at this point because things just seem a little out of place. As other things have changed, there's aspects of some of those lands that just don't make sense anymore.
Yeah. And some lands were really easy to retheme. I mean, like Pixar Pier, that was a very easy retheme. Avengers Campus, a lot more in depth, but even seeing just like a little reskin, yes, I do think that is likely. So
likely,
yeah,
agreed.
So I'll just get the next one because it's just quick and funny.
Go for it.
We got another listener suggestion at Magic King Dad. His wild prediction was that Disneyland is going to raise ticket prices during that time. I'm going to say not likely. Not like, no, just kidding.
I was like, you're kidding me, right?
I say likely by tomorrow.
Yeah.
They're going to be changing
Pretty
those
much
prices.
count on it every few months.
Yeah, seriously. Magic King Dad, we love you. So glad we got to see you in the parks.
Yeah,
and definitely go check out his page. He has amazing stuff, amazing hysterical content. On there.
Yes.
So good. Do you want to get the next one?
Yeah, and this goes back to what we were just talking about, expansion of New Orleans Square, which would make perfect sense now that Tiana's Bayou Adventure is joining the area soon, and Tiana's Place.
Tiana's Place is technically already
it's still
in,
a part of it. Yes, I
just
just mean like things seem to be kind of
it's weird to do
taking
the
on
Tiana's restroom.
restroom.
Tiana's restaurant, her palace or place, right? Palace or place. In New Orleans Square while her ride is in Critter Country. So that does seem weird. Although there's a lot of critters in the movie. So that does make sense. But I'm going to say an expansion of New Orleans Square is definitely likely.
It's so hard to say though, because
you cut into Critter Country, which is
and I don't think that they're going to get rid of Winnie the Pooh.
I don't think so either.
So what are they going to do with that? I mean, because the only way to expand is there and the shop and the candy store. What's it called?
Pooh's Corner.
Yeah.
Is it?
I think so.
I think you name that little area Pooh's Spot.
Yes.
Just a spot of.
I don't think that's gonna go over so well.
Good.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's so weird. You know they've already thought about it.
Yeah.
I think
it's such a small space. Like it hardly even feels like it counts as a land at this point. It did when Splash was there because, it's about critters. But now it's just, it would literally just be Hungry Bear Restaurant, Winnie the Pooh ride, and Pooh Corner.
Before it was Critter Country, it was called Bear Country. I could see them expanding New Orleans Square to feature her ride. And then you go back to Bear Country, but it'll be Pooh Bear Country. So you got his little sweet shop there, the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh ride, and then you change
the restaurant,
which is Hungry Bear. No, keep it Hungry Bear, but then it's Pooh themed. So it'd be Pooh Bear Country. And then, so it's just a little section with Pooh Bear. Yeah. And bam, there you go. I'm going to say an expansion of sorts will happen before or during the 70th.
Yeah. An expansion of sorts. So I think I'm going to do the halfway thumbs up.
Okay. The of sorts is very important too.
Yeah.
Okay. I like it.
I'm a little torn on how that would go, but it would make sense.
Yeah.
To do.
So next up is
on the topic,
at Country Critters. So Austin, this guy is amazing. Had some really good conversations with them in the past. So thank you so much for listening to our show for such a long time. You're one of our first reviewers on Apple Podcasts too, which is amazing. Cool. Your support just means everything to us, just like everyone else on this list, but really thankful for you. And so he said his crazy prediction is we're going to get an expanded DCA. Well, if Disneyland Forward goes through, I do think we are going to get an expanded DCA. I think in some sense, I think
some capacity, they might have
to bump it out a little bit.
A few things, some parking, and
I
don't know what else. Things would have to change a lot, but I think if they are going to follow through with the Disneyland Forward, then there would be a lot of changes to the park now.
Yeah. And especially with them talking about Tron can't go anywhere. And if they're talking about putting in California Adventure, it can't go anywhere currently.
Yeah.
With that. So I'm going to say,
land or something.
Yeah. Like a new land with just random stuff in there, I guess.
That'll feel really disjointed. I don't know.
Yeah. I do think we'll see an expanded DCA, but I don't know what that will look like. Mm-hmm. But
yeah, agreed.
We'll see.
Yeah, I think that they're definitely going to expand DCA because it's definitely the most like changing park between it and Disneyland. Like they're definitely like changing a lot of things about it.
And they know people are going to be easier on them for change than Disneyland for change.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So agreed. Yeah.
I'm going to say,
there's going to be some more changes to DCA for sure.
Yeah. I'm going to say likely for sure.
Agreed. Okay. So this brings us to our last prediction that we came up with for the 70th decade of Disneyland. Yeah. And that would be a third park construction. So very dependent on the city of Anaheim. Yeah. I think there's maybe some animosity there that would need to be resolved in order for Disneyland to have more land to work with. Yeah. But there's definitely no way another park could open if they didn't have more land. There's just not enough space.
Yeah. I would love if this would happen, but I think at some point there will be a third park. Mm-hmm. But I don't think within the next decade, especially with them talking about Disneyland Forward, it sounds like they will try to expand Disneyland and expand California Adventure and figure out what to do with Downtown Disney. That's going to be their next priority. I think by the 100th anniversary of Disneyland, we will have a third park. But I don't think it's going to be, 100 years. Yeah, that's like over 30 years.
Yeah.
I think we could have that for the 70th though. It sucks that we're ending the episode on a not likely, at least for me. I'm saying not likely. In my mind, I think it will be after.
Yeah. I would like to say likely, but I think I'll have to say unlikely as well because, I just think financially, once again, that maybe the other things that they're putting their focus towards are more of an affordable thing to focus on than starting a whole new construction
for sure
of a park. So,
yeah,
I guess not. Maybe after the 70th at some point.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we'll see. But hey, that was a really fun episode. Just think about what could be within the next 10 to 12 years. If there was one that you have thought about for a very long time and you didn't get a chance to respond to our little question on Instagram, I want you to write it down below. If you're on Instagram, leave it in the comments and we'll do a little likely, unlikely on our comments. If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and write it in the comments. We would love to chat with you there as well. If you're listening on YouTube, go ahead and give us a little like and a subscribe. That helps out our show so much. If you're listening on a podcast platform, definitely follow our show on there. If you like our show, you could review us on Apple Podcasts. That also helps out our show a lot. More ways to help out the show. We have some links below where you could get some discounts on some Disney goods. And that is one way you can help out our show. And then just listening. So we just want to say thank you because you are what keeps us going. And we are getting so close to our 100th episode. We're at 98 close right now. Our 100th episode is going to be really fun because we're going to be launching our store right around then, where you get some shirts like these.
We have another shirt being announced if you're watching on YouTube. Not announced, but just
shown teased publicly. Yes. You can get it in multiple different colors, just like this shirt, multiple different colors. Two different t-shirt styles as well. So that's really, really exciting.
Yeah, we got some fun designs dropping.
Yeah, it's so great. But definitely follow along because we're gonna have some guests I think soon too, which is gonna be great. But once again, thank you for listening. You just make us so happy. We love you. Thanks. And we will see you all next week.
Bye, guys. See you
ya.
then.
Bye.